Hi everyone, this is The Pulse, where we keep our finger on the conversations that actually matter, the ones that shape how we think, how we live, and how we show up every day. And I am your host, Priscilla Wahil. But before we get into today's conversation, we are shooting here at IR Studio, and if you have any creative idea that you want to execute, this is a place to be it content-wise, shooting reels, podcast, conversations, YouTube videos, you name it, this is the place to be. So let's get straight into today's topic. So on this episode, we're talking about something I think a lot of us have asked ourselves, considering the state of our nation, and it's, does my vote really matter? And this conversation really was sparked by, I was scrolling on Twitter, on X, and I spent a really long time on X. And one of the tweets that I saw was somebody saying, mimi nayo kuchukua kura sitachukua kura kwa sababu, what do you mean? I wake up, I go, nipange line, and then I just see politicians living exorbitant lives and they don't even care about me anymore. And then the next tweet was someone saying, I hope umeenda kuchukua kura because 2027 we have to vote. And I sat there thinking, okay, these are two people with two very valid thoughts, and we want to have that conversation. And I'm not having it alone. I am having it with Aaron Bogwa. Thank you so much for honoring our invite.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's get straight into it. Okay. What informed me to have this conversation is I was on X the other day. I spent an ungodly amount on X, amount of time on X, and someone said, let me just paraphrase, but if I get the tweet, maybe we'll put it here. Mbona nichukue kura, niende nivutie watu wenye wataenda kuiba. And then the next tweet was literally, I hope umechukua voters card yako, you need to vote. And in my head, I was just like, oh, okay, these are two different perspectives, and they're welcome because, you know, we are a democracy. People can think the way they want, but these are two different perspectives when it comes to, should I vote, should I not vote? If I don't feel like voting, you know, what's the big issue in it? And let's start off on a very honest note. Have you ever skipped voting?
Yeah, I've skipped voting on a few occasions because of various reasons. So I've not always been consistent. Yeah.
Me too. I didn't vote last year. And I would give an excuse that my shift ili go on for so long that I didn't vote. But I feel like if I had the will to vote, I would have voted. And I would like to know what is the mindset that shapes the people who decide, you know what, I might as well not just vote.
Yeah, there's a concept in sociology called alienation, and that is where someone is separated from something that is supposed to mean something to them. So I'll give you an example. Maybe you're a fundi and you build one of these high rises in the city. So after you finish it, you'll never even get to enter. No. So I think to some extent, the political system has alienated voters. So when you hear someone saying, what's the need of voting? That is someone who has been disappointed, someone who is frustrated and alienated from the political process, which is supposed to make life easier for him. Yeah, and you wouldn't be surprised that this is probably a millennial. You see, a first-time voter is always excited because they think my vote will change the world. So it's probably an old person who has voted for the past few elections and they have seen no change.
Okay, so you said the first-time voters, and maybe I would say like the Gen Zs. There's a lot of, you know, heated conversations on Niko Kadi, we have to vote. And when we look at the statistics of the previous elections, there was a large number of young people who did not vote. Yeah. And now when we culminate those kidogo people who say, I don't feel like voting does not matter, does the ripple effect look like?
It actually adds up to a very big number. Like between 18 and 24, like in the last election, like 8 million of them could have voted, but only 2.8 showed up. You see, that's like 6 million people who didn't vote. And partly it's because of my vote won't make a difference. Like I'm just one person, or let me see how it goes. So it accumulates. When you take the number of people who say, I will not vote for one reason or another, I'm working, or I'm too tired, or the line, or I was sick, like it accumulates to a number that would change the outcome of the election. Because like about 6 million young people not voting, that is a very big number. Yeah.
So the young people, let's focus on the young people. We have the people maybe on the day to say they get sick or something like that, but how can we change the mindset for the people who feel like my vote genuinely, it doesn't matter?
Yeah, we really need to change the mindset, and it's a personal responsibility. Like actually I was reading somewhere in some countries, like it's almost compulsory. Like I read in Australia, if you don't vote, you're fined. You know, so the first thing we should maybe sensitize the young people is, this is your duty. It is your duty. If you don't do it, no one else will do it for you. And if you don't do it, don't later complain about how society is like going to the dogs. You know, so it's your responsibility first and foremost. So you just need to show up. There are so many reasons that young people give. I'm not well represented. I've read their manifestos. I don't know this and this. It's okay, but you must do your duty. And then you leave the rest to other factors. But don't stay at home saying I won't vote because of one reason or another. It's your civic duty. And I think when we look at voting in terms of duty, it will change. It's going to work is your duty. Taking care of your kids is your duty. Paying rent, school fees, that's a duty. You do it even when you don't want to. So we should look at voting like that. Like I'm being given an opportunity to choose the leaders that will influence the direction that the society is going. So I should definitely vote. Yeah.
So let's talk about apathy. There's a lot of, I went out on the streets, nothing changed. I have tweeted the way I've tweeted, nothing has changed. So now I become removed from whatever is going on in the country. I don't want to participate. I don't want to vote. How does that also culminate to getting the leaders that you don't want?
So let me ask you, like, if you have ever been dissatisfied with something, like how many times did you have to talk about it for there to be a change?
A while.
You see, the problem, at times I think, especially with younger voters, we think change is instant. Like, we think by voting in 2027, we will correct every evil that has taken place since independence. It doesn't work like that. Change is gradual, and at times it's slow. Some of the things we wanted to change when we were 20 are still changing pole, because it's a system. And systems don't change overnight. If systems change overnight, actually change will do more harm than good. So to the young voter, I'd say, just be patient. Change what you can. There are things that are immediate, but there are things that will take time. Like for example, corruption, people tend to forget that corruption is a system. It is a system. It is a system that has taken root over the years we have been a republic. It cannot change overnight. People cannot stop being corrupt just because you voted. And I think that becomes like a discouragement, because you're saying the last government was like this. What will a person who has voted since 1965 thereabout say? Change takes time. Change, the beginning of change is young people voting on a consistent basis. So if we don't get it right this time, we will get it right the next election. If we don't get it right the next election, then the next election. Such that by the time you are a parent or a grandparent, you are actually living in the change that you envisioned when you were a kid. But voting on August 2027, it will bring very little change. But then again, there's hope, because that's the beginning of change. You get?
Yeah.
So I think voter apathy stems out of that, like there's no change. Like there was corruption, there's still corruption. People are still there's injustice, there's no change. Take time. Even on a personal level, they say it takes like about 21 days to change a habit, and that's a simple habit.
Yeah.
So how about changing the mindset of people, changing government, changing systems, changing something people have believed in for the last 50 years. So it will take time.
It's a gradual thing. Takes time. You do it, hit, miss, and then maybe you'll get it eventually. Yeah, okay. I really like that. So you said something about starting from the constituent level. And I feel like right now we are all looking at the big seats. And that, I feel like, limits the thought process of now creating the said change because we are looking at one person. Do you think the same way? Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, here's the thing. My idea would be like, let's start from the bottom, because at the end of the day, the president is higher up there, so he will affect decisions on the national level. But there are people who will make decisions that will affect you where you stay directly. So it's not enough. Let me say, it's not enough to have a good president and a bad MCA. So people think having a good president will nullify a bad MCA. But you see, we should have good people in every position. There's a possibility that we can have a good president who will be impeached by bad representatives. And we have seen it happen. So it's important for us to actually care about who the MCA is. And unfortunately for most people don't know. Most people don't think the MCA is important.
Yeah.
So an MCA is like a byproduct of the party the president is representing. So if the president is representing with a certain party and an MCA belongs to that party, so he gets our vote. But we haven't vetted him. We don't know what he stands for. And that's the problem, because people have always been targeting, okay, we'll do president, governor, and MP. The rest we can. What about women rep? What about senator? What about MCA? And those are people that can make decisions that will influence you directly. At times, national decisions tend to go over your head. But if there's insecurity in your neighborhood, we don't expect the president to come and solve that. We expect like the MCA to come solve that issue. So we should really care about these people. And I also think the MCAs should do a good job of making themselves known to us. So, for example, I would struggle remembering my MCA's name. I to be honest, I don't know.
Mine. Should I say mine?
Yeah, you can say if you.
David Maura.
Yeah, that's good. Most people don't
Yeah.
because they think it's not a significant position, but
That's
it is
true.
a significant position. So these people should come to us and tell us, this is what we will do for your community. This is how we want you to help us serve the community better. But now the problem is, we once elected, we rarely see them. See, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So we rarely see them. So society cannot become better if the people we have given the responsibility are absent. And us, on the other hand, since they didn't come to us, we don't care about them.
Okay.
Yeah. So we should start caring from the lower level. And Priscilla, it's really important to elect the right people.
Yeah.
Like one good leader can shift like a small area. If there was insecurity, if there was joblessness, if people were losing their chicken and goats to some thieves,
Petty thieves, yeah.
he can solve that. And if he solves that, all of a sudden you are able to take your eggs to the market, you are able to sell this, your life becomes better. So we should really vet our MCAs, vet our women reps, senators, MPs, and that. So it's our responsibility. As we going back to that earlier point, it's our duty. It's our duty to vet these people.
I really like that you've said that. And I think that now alludes to we need to change how we register as voters. Because you'll see most people going back. Like I would go back to my Ushago in Kinangop, but I don't live in Kinangop.
Sure.
I don't know my MC in Kinangop. I don't know the day-to-day, processes of how Kinangop works. I go there maybe December, but during voting, you will see most people packing their bags to go and vote from where they've come from. I think now that's something we need to start thinking about so that we can be able to actually vet the people where we live. Do you live in Kiambu? Do you live in Nairobi? Your day-to-day, where does kwenye kura itakupatia, where the voting day will find you? I think that is where somebody should take their voters card from. That makes more sense. And now as we are shooting this, we have a few days until the continuous voter registration exercise comes to an end, but that doesn't mean that you don't take your voter's card. You can still do that at the constituency level. And we have seen the rise of the Nikokadi initiative. I'd like to hear your thoughts about that.
What I'd say, like, part of the reason why voter turnout has been low is when travel is involved. So like you have to borrow permission from work. I need to go, and then it's not a one-day journey. You're not going to Kinangop and coming back the same day. You'll still find lines there. So part of the reason why people don't vote, even though it's a very small part, is distances that are involved. Even imagine within Nairobi, if I live in Westlands and I had registered in Umoja, that's a journey. I'll find a line there. And the other reason was like ignorance. People don't know who they are voting for. People don't know who is standing where.
And people don't even know what their rules are. Like what MCA wako unafaa kumuuliza swali
what they're supposed to do. So it's just like having a company with positions. And so you're going to the market and say, like, I think you'd make a good HR. You just come. Wachana na hizo nyanya we kuja tu. No. That company will collapse pretty soon. So I think people should make decisions that affect where they live. Because at the end of the day, even if I vote for the right person or the wrong person in Kinangop, the decisions made there will not affect me because I don't live there. So I think that's something that people should, if as we were talking earlier, we were alluding to the fact that, like, the convenience part of voting, the more, if you live here and the polling station is 5 minutes away, there's a high likelihood you will vote. Because it doesn't include travel and all that thing. So even if the line is long, just my house is 5 minutes away. So that's a positive. So I think even the government should take steps to make it's like we are enticing voters, because we have seen from the statistics, like I think last election it's 64%. 64%. That's 14 million out of 22 million. So see, like there are how many people are those? Like 8 million people didn't vote. And we have said 8 million people can actually select a president on their own.
That's
you get
true,
so the government should make it convenient. And there are countries who are experimenting with these things. Like, why not use something people have? Everyone has a smartphone. Why not vote online? If voting was online, trust me, most Gen Zs would do it because they spend most of their time there. But then again, we live in this world where, like, we are trying to behave, we are so advanced. It's technology, it's AI, but some things we still have to do them manually. Of course, not everyone will get 4 hours to stand in line. Not everyone is, because it takes a lot of physical, like, strain to stand in line for 4 hours. At times it's raining, there's hunger, you have a kid, all those factors. So the government can experiment on making voting easier.
Do you think voting has been made harder by design?
Voting, I don't understand why people line up. You see, that's the thing. I don't understand. There's a time, like us growing up, like there was no mobile or online banking. So you would go to the bank and find a very long line. But then again, now we have online banking. Very few people actually go to the physical bank. You see, even in voting, we can experiment with the same thing. We don't have to stand in line for hours. And when it's hours, like, you don't have any other plans when you're voting. I'm sure on voting day, you can't say, like, I'm voting and then I'm going somewhere else. It's a full day event because there are a lot of eventualities. I don't know, ballot boxes zimechelewa mahali, it's raining, I don't know, watu walikosana mahali,
it has been opened late.
It has been opened late, so you can't plan for anything. Like, voting in and of itself is an inconvenience. The reason why we stand in line is because we want to see change. But I think also the government should borrow best practices from all over the world. If people are voting online, let's try voting online. If people are spreading out the voting days, let's do that. If we say something, even though it can be expensive, you say, like, on Monday we are voting for MCAs, on Tuesday. So, like, at times there are so many faces on that ballot box, you're confused. And going back to the fact that we say you don't know who you're voting for. You're trying to remember, what was this guy saying on the news? Like, is this the guy? Like, you are torn. So yeah, government should consider making voting. They should give incentives.
It becomes more easily accessible.
Yeah, for example, if you say something like something wild, this is just an idea. If you vote, hatutakukata tax mingi. There's a percentage we won't cut. Kila mtu atakuwa hapo.
But don't you think that's like shooting for the stars?
But people need to vote. So let me ask you something, Priscilla. If we go how we are going, and we discussed earlier, the number is going down. Like the voter turnout is not going up. It's going down. Now we are at 64. So who knows the next election? Who knows the other election? So it will reach a certain point where people are no longer showing up for voting. And when people don't show up for voting, they are not represented well.
And I understand where you're coming from. I'd like to know, is that a gap in civic education? Is that a gap in voter apathy? Like, where is the gap where now people are just like, you know what, mistaki kwenda kuvote? Is it that they've been disappointed so many times that they're just like, you know what, let me just take a back seat? Or is it the entire process has been prolonged that you feel aina haja?
It's a combination of factors, but let's agree one thing. Politics is intense.
Yeah.
There are so many, like you are telling me, like I didn't even remember, like how many presidential candidates were in the next. You were just mentioning
there
them.
There
and I was like,
so many.
I didn't know there were that
even
many.
Up to now, the people who said they want to be president,
yeah,
they are a couple.
So let me ask you, can't we come up with a system of just remaining with the best?
The best according to who?
No, that's a good question. That's a good question. What's the requirement of being president? You just need to meet a few requirements which are possible to meet.
Yeah.
So, you see, like how they do it in advanced countries. When you're down to two, you're either Democrat or Republican. It's simple. But at times, like the ballot paper is so long. You know, some names you don't know, some you've heard only once. There's this major one. You get? Yeah. So let me ask you. There's actually like a survey they did. It was a social experiment. Like on a supermarket, they put very many different products. Like for example, if it's lotion, they had like 10 types of lotions, and then now they realized when there were options, people got confused. They were like, do I buy this? Do I buy this? This smells better than that one. At the end of the day, the experiment concluded when people have options, they don't buy. So they flipped it around. There are only two. You can either buy this lotion or this lotion. The researchers observed that people made a choice when they had fewer options. So in my mind, I'm thinking, we were talking earlier, and I was like, you were telling me about a presidential candidate I've not even thought about.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, ata huyo yuko. And then you mention another activist. I'm like, ata ye yuko. Ata nani anasimama. Oh, even this one is a candidate. So at the end of the day, you have 10 people to choose from. One conforms, one is a Christian. So you're like, yeah, I might go with the Christian. The other one has a good manifesto. Like the other one has a clean record. He's not corrupt. Like, so you have so many choices. And this is for educated people. Let's think about the people in the village. Like, first of all, they can't even read. They have to be assisted. And then now you're seeing 10 faces there. You're like, could it be the reason why there are so many spoiled votes? Because you're like, someone doesn't know he's supposed to tick the candidate that he wants. So he'll go and
put X
and
on
X the ones that they don't. That's
like.
A spoiled vote.
Yeah.
So, Priscilla, I think we can narrow down to two. Narrow down to two, make it easier for everyone.
Yeah,
because even you told me you read all the manifestos. There's something good in this manifesto which is not in this manifesto. And then there's another one which is good in this. So even as a voter, you're confused. Because there's so many options. And that's on the presidential level.
Come to MCA.
Yeah, come to MCA. At the end of the day, voting is very frustrating, is very difficult. That's part of the reason why I'm not going to do that.
You're getting tired because of the many possible choices, choices. And I'd like to ask, so now there are many choices, you don't know who to choose. Then somebody will say, you know what, you can just choose the lesser evil. And then when you choose the lesser evil, there's still an evil after the lesser.
Yeah, that's something people don't realize.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you choose the lesser evil and things go south, and then we blame the lesser evil, but we chose the lesser evil.
Yeah.
Do we deserve the leaders that we have?
I think we do. I think we do. If we are like 10 good people, there's no logical explanation why we should have a bad president. Because good people will vote for good people. So here's the thing. If we agree that leadership is a reflection of society, if the leader is corrupt, then there's a possibility that the society is corrupt. If you have friends who don't make good decisions, there's a possibility you being part of that group, you don't make good decisions. So one of the things I'd want people to realize is that's something we can't escape. That is something we can't escape. This person was voted for by people. So he represents the people, and he represents the majority of the people. So at times I'm confused when people say that we never thought he would turn out like that. At the end of the day, lesser evil has more potential to become greater evil than it has potential to become good. So if I'm evil, like I'm definitely moving toward evilness. There's no way like I'm backtracking like no, I want to be good. I've been evil for 20 years, but if you elect me, like I'm changing. I've changed my ways. I'm becoming good. You know. So that has been the African problem. Choose this person because that person is bad. Let me choose this Kikuyu president. I know he's not a good person. Actually, there's evidence that he's a very, very corrupt person. But so that Kikuyus are in power, let me just vote for this Kikuyu.
Or let me vote for this one. Ndo ule mwingine asikie vibaya.
Yeah. It has been like that. It has been like that. And we... do we really have good leaders? Like, if you ask me, like, the time I've been here, there's only one person I'd vouch for. Like, they actually, like, just make the cut. I think President Kibaki was an okay president. He wasn't that, like, unique, but he was an okay president. He seemed to be someone who knows what he's doing. And we were not bleeding. You know, he said, like, this thing will cost this amount, and it actually cost that amount. But now, today, something starts off with a few millions. Before we know it, like, yeah, it's in the billions now.
And the trillions.
Yeah, in the trillions. No, as in, there are words we never used to hear when we were growing up, like trillion.
Trillion. I feel like trillion iko na zero ngapi?
So many, man. It has so many. I think I don't know, it has like 12 going upwards. Like, it has so many. So that's the kind of money we are bleeding. And funny thing is, those are the scandals that we know of. There are others that will come way, way later, and we'll be surprised that we have been functioning as a country. Yeah. Okay.
So we deserve the leaders that we have. How do we change now the narrative to actually tujite sisi wa Kenya kamkutano? You see, this is where we are going short as Kenyans before we start involving our leaders, even though they're also Kenyans, but like what kamkutano should we have with ourselves?
I think we have learned enough. Personally, like, I think we have learned that the fact that someone is from your area or the person shares the same tribe doesn't guarantee they'll be a good leader. And I'm thinking in future now we'll be seeing like people voting for, you know, like I think it requires a certain lesson. We wake up to the realization that like it doesn't matter. Tribe is no longer a factor. Because we have seen it. Tribe is no longer a factor. You get?
Yeah.
Now we want someone who will work for us. Because you appoint your tribe mates, they actually make you suffer. You get? So I'm foreseeing a situation whereby people will be voting for someone based on their manifesto and what they are saying, maybe their track record. That's where this is going. That thing of tribalism is slowly, and nowadays, especially to younger people, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So me, I always ask myself, like, like people of the mountain. I don't understand, man. Where is that coming in?
How is it helping?
Yeah, as in, who told you I belong to that group or I want to be part of that group? You get?
Yeah,
people are slowly waking up.
And now for the people now who are the older, I would say the older generation, maybe the people who are still in the mashinani, who still think and believe that I'm going to vote for this person because he is going to or she is going to take care for me because we come from the same community, and or this other leader told us to vote for this leader because they are a better suited fit as How do we tackle now that kind of mindset? Because I feel like it's a very ingrained mindset to tell someone who has been voting or thinking along the lines of their whole life, along the lines of, I'm going to vote for this person because they come from my community. I'm going to vote for this person because this leader has told me to vote for this leader.
I think this is how we look at it. Let me ask you, people who suffer more, like people in the village or people in the city?
At this point, I feel like we're all suffering.
We're all suffering, but
people, I don't know.
I think people in the village suffer more.
Yeah,
because
no roads,
in the city,
stima,
in the city, kuna infrastructure. There's infrastructure. So I'm thinking in the village, when you have only one bridge that connects you to the outside world, when it's swept away by water, like you'll suffer more. Such in town, we have options, different routes. You get?
Yeah.
So these people who suffer in the village voted for their tribe mate, knowing that he at our side here, but amewa let down. So is it possible that soon we'll be seeing like a Kalenjin being elected in Kiambu katikati? Nona, because that narrative has fallen. That this is my tribe mate, they will look out for my best interest. You only to realize they're looking out for their own interest. And then I think it's also happening in Western countries. Have you seen like African Americans being elected in predominantly white areas? Are you seeing Kenyans becoming, I don't know, representatives in Europe? So the narrative of color, of tribe, of religion, I believe like you will see maybe a Muslim being elected in a predominantly Christian area. Why? At the end of the day, religion haijatusaidia. Si tulisema chagua ule juni wa PCA. Alijenga kanisa ya PCA ikaishia hapo. Development yake ilikuwa kuweka kabro kwa compound ya PCA. Imeishia hapo hiyo story. So when the Muslim comes, like they are there to work. People won't mind the religion. Soon people won't mind the color. Yeah.
So it's just going to these people and telling them, now we voted for this person because they are our tribesman, but then Amedu.
Yeah, true. Priscilla, if you walk to someone and they people know what failure is. At this point, how people are suffering, people know what failure is. And people have seen we elected leaders with the wrong mindset. As in, now, just walk around. No one needs an explanation. No one needs convincing that tribe no longer works. Because they have seen. They have seen. Aren't Kikuyu MPs stealing from the Kikuyu people?
Yeah.
They are. They say we'll build this stadium 5 years later.
There's nothing.
Bado ijajengwa. Nona.
Yeah.
So do you think they won't care next election? They won't care nani uo muindi anasimama tuvotie uo muindi. Nona. Kuna area zingine mpaka utaona wazungu wanachaguliwa. People just want people who will work. At least fix the roads. Of course you can't do everything. Let us steamer. Tulete to steamer. We have been promised for 20 years. Just bring electricity. And there are people who are willing to work. Yeah.
Okay. So as we are concluding, if there's someone who's still thinking, I genuinely don't have it in me to go collect my voter's card and or even my ID to start the entire process to collecting my voter's card, because if I vote in a side, the richer to get richer and us, the poorer are getting poor, what would you tell them to change their mindset?
Yeah, they have to change their mindset. And to inspire them to change their mindset, I just tell them, think about your children. At times we don't do things for ourselves. You just think about your children. If we are not careful, how education is going, most people will be confused. Because very few people understand how education is working these days. let's look at healthcare. There's a day you'll have a family. Like for the sake, we said change takes time. If our fathers, our grandfathers are seeing the change now that they started fighting for after independence, then it means if we want our children to live a better life, we should start now. We should start. Your vote matters. Your vote matters because your vote might not bring instant change, but it will be the beginning. So that when time comes and one generation fades away, another can say, hawa walifikisha hapa. They eliminated corruption 20%. Let's eliminate 40%. Our kids will do the rest. At the end of the day, you won't be a Kenyan forever. People will die. But we will say there was a certain change that Gen Zs brought. What change is that? Gen Zs reminded the whole country about the value of human life. See, when millennials, someone used to die and no one cares. Right now, we have Gen Zs who have a list of everyone who died during the protest.
Yeah.
Like Gen Zs will follow up and say, you see this picture, you see this policeman, here's the policeman, same cap. Such things never used to happen. You get?
Yeah.
Gen Zs have taught us that human life is important. Yeah. And everyone who takes for granted human life must be brought to book. Isn't that change?
Yeah.
So if you ask me, what did June 25th protest achieve? I'll tell you that. It brought back to the minds of Kenyans the value of human life. And it was our kids saying very loudly, you cannot kill someone.
And just go away with it.
And get away with it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, by the time you're getting kids, the human life will have appreciated. Human life will have appreciated. And that's the change. That's the change. So now, if someone dies in a police cell, there's an investigation. Like, trust me, like 10 years ago, no one would have cared. Right now, people are being fired. People are being, like, right now, you can't just shoot anyone because Gen Z's taught us that, like, you can use your phone for good. You get?
Yeah.
Yeah, so change.
Change.
And trust me, by holding leaders to account, by saying, like, you stole, this is the amount you stole, we know about it. There's a very little less likelihood that person will be re-elected because of the activism of exposing fraud here. Like, think of the vigilance these kids have of exposing a bill even we didn't know. Someone is telling you this is in the first reading. Millennials hata hatuko hiyo shughuli.
And then going ahead to translate it
to translate to people.
Languages.
Yeah, this is what we'll say. This is what now that's change. Now that's change. Now, 2027, you won't see the fruits, but at least now you will see like the seed coming out of the ground. Pole pole, gaining roots. By the time you're 40, like Kenya is a decent country. You know, where the constitution is working, where leaders respect each other, and you will tell your kids, unaona hizi vitu mnaona sahi, tulianza kuzipigania tukiwa 20. So, your vote matters. The same way your vote matters. Vote 2027. Let's eliminate, out of 10 evil, corrupt, wicked leaders, let's eliminate 2. Now we are left with 8 leaders. Next election, let's eliminate 2 and replace them with 2 good leaders. That's how politics works. Yeah, so go take your vote. Take your vote. 8 million people not voting, those are the 8 million people that could have put the right person in power. So, go take your vote. Take it as your responsibility. Do it for your kids, because if you don't do it for your kids, then you'll have to explain to them why Kenya is ranked among the most corrupt countries in the country. So, in the world. So, yeah, just take a vote.
Okay. That is a perfect place to close it out from. Chukua kura. Let's begin the change that we want to see. Thank you so much, Aaron, and thank you for honoring our invite and being part of this lovely conversation.
Thanks for having me.
Kindly like, share, comment, subscribe, and see you on the next one.